Hello, everybody. It's nice to see you today. Hey, everybody. Today I'm going to make an instrument. And you know what? I'm super excited, and I would love to make the coolest, most unique, awesomest instrument ever seen. But realistically, if you want to invent something or create something, you start with something that already exists and maybe add to it or make it a little better. That way, you can make some small goals you can accomplish, and then success breeds more success before your goals get bigger and more fascinating, and you are building the most awesomest instrument ever. Who knows, right? Anyway, I want to build a little instrument, and I'm basing it off of, once again, something I already have. This is called the Joya tubes. Now, the Joya tube instrument I want to create will add to these Joya tubes. Now, these tubes are really fun to play, but I want more of them. I'd like to add some bass or some low notes to them. So, these tubes, you hit them, and the short ones, of course, have a higher pitch. The sound waves don't have to travel as far, and it's a higher pitch. We've talked about this in one of the previous videos I did. And as you go down, each gets lower and longer until you get to the longest tube. And my goal is to make lower notes. So if this is the lowest and the longest, we have to make one with tubes longer than this. So in order to get some good bass tones, we need to use this really long tube. You know how good those sounds are? However, this thing is 10 feet long, which is totally ridiculous. And since our tubing is 10 feet long, and it takes up way too much space, we're going to have to use some of these connector pieces and put it on some bends and twists in order to take up less space. Kind of like at a water park where there's different slides and they may tangle in and out of each other like a pretzel, and it's so they don't take up a lot of space and so you can twist around. We're going to kind of make that kind of concept with this instrument. It's also the same concept you would use in a French horn. A French horn is shaped into like a spiral. And if you were able to uncoil it all the way and make it straight, it'd be like 12 or 13 feet long, which is even longer than that tube I'm trying to use. It's actually the same concept that's used here in my trumpet. You see, there's all these different tubing. And when you blow air into it, there's these different valves up here, these button-like things. If I pull it out, you see there's different holes in it. And those holes are purposely placed where if it's pushed down, then this one, for example, adds this much tubing for it to take a little ride around. And adding extra tubing makes the pitch go down. The second valve has this little bit of tubing, and all the way over here, the third valve has the longest tube. And if you push them all down, it travels through all of them, which makes for the lowest pitch. So my goal here is to build 3 bass notes to go with the Joya tubes. Bass notes are the low notes. You want really low notes. So give me some long tubes, right? So to know where to start, we have to start with the Joya tubes that we already have, right? So this note is the note G, and it's a high G right now. Hard to hit that high note, right? But when I put a cap on the end of it, I put this rubber cap on it, this high G then turns into a lower G. So, why does that happen? Well, the sound waves are traveling through. They get to the end here, and we can't get out. It's a dead end. Oh my gosh, must be construction. Always, right? So they turn around, go back the other way, and it makes the trip twice as long, which makes the sound wave stretch out and makes them lower, right? It's a lower pitch. The longer the tube, the lower the sound. And that's what we want with our bass notes, those low sounds, right? So I was thinking, a little hypothesis, right? A little theory. I was thinking that, hey, if this makes it twice as low, twice as long, maybe we just need to start with one that's around twice as long, right? Okay, so I'm going to start with one basic piece for how tall I want my structure to be. And you can hear it's not low enough yet. So I'll put a little connector piece somewhere. Here's a little connector piece. So now watch as I add a piece here. And then I put this other piece on and tap it. It's gone down a little bit. So we need to keep making it a little bit longer until it fits. We're somewhere near the pitch we're looking for. So next thing we want to do is try to build some sort of a stand. Maybe come this way. So we could build a stand for this thing, and because the Joya tubes come with the stand and this one doesn't, so we have to make our own. So I have this piece, I pre-cut, because you don't need to watch me use a saw, that's kind of boring, right? I put this piece on here, now it's starting to turn this way. So now it could start to stand up on its own, and oh, it's getting lower. It's getting exciting, right? We need another type of connector piece because we want 3 notes. Now that we have this part, we probably need some sort of an intersection where we have multiple tubes coming together. So let's try that out. Okay, I brought my guitar over so I can show what pitch I'm looking for. We're gonna put this little connector piece that has 3 different pieces here, right? We'll put this connector piece right here. Right, so that I could start to build off of this. It's getting complicated now, isn't it? So let me tap this one on the end. So here's what we're looking for on the guitar. Oh, we're right there. Oh my gosh, it's right there. It's just a touch too high. So I can add a wee little piece, just a little one, right? And you know, gotta be totally honest here. I cut this a few times before I got it right. Once again, you don't need to watch me make mistakes, but that might be fun, who knows? So let me put this one in here. And see if that helps. We get to the pitch that we're looking for. Ready, here we go. Here's our pitch. Ta-da! All right, so we got our first one, sort of. Here's the catch. We're looking to go twice as low as that. Oh my word. So do you remember how we did that? That's right, we put a cap on the end. That's right. Let's cap it up. Let's close her up and make sure this one works. Here, cap on there. See if it gets twice as low. Cross your fingers. Everybody, here we go. Whoa. Okay, now because we have this triple thing coming here and we got the cap here to make it a no note, and we want a cap here, we're gonna start coming out here with our next note, with the one that already has a cap. So I'm gonna stick a cap on here. But see, here's where we need to go. Our next note is gonna be like a D, or So we have to try to find that one. So I'm gonna put a little connector on this long piece. And first I did it and it was too long once again. So I trimmed it again, put it here. And now when I'm all done with this, I'll glue it, but not till then. Probably paint it too to make it look pretty. So here we go. Now we have this structure, and coming off of this guy, whoops, hopefully we have a note that is D, but twice as low as this. It worked. So now we say a low G, G, D, G, D. Now we need to do 1 G higher, G, D, G, and we'll have our third note. Okay, so the third note I'm looking to do, it's actually just going to be the same as the lowest note on the Joya tubes. That makes it pretty easy because I just have to make it the same length. So I went ahead and cut one the same length. And lo and behold, it is, wait, it's a G, but this is low, high. I think it's because there's no cap yet. So we put this G separately because it's kind of easy to do on its own. Now we can attach it to the original instrument here. Remember the end here with that lowest piece kind of had a cap just waiting? All we gotta do is attach this guy to here and we'll put the whole thing together. So now we have our basic structure. Our bass notes, the longest one here traveling down here and around the corner, going all the way up to just past here with the little cutoff and a cap right here. Our second longest one coming around here with a cap there. And our shortest one or the highest note, also with the same cap. So we have our G, so we have our 3 pitches. So now all we really have to do is a couple things, like to basically make it look a little better, right? Still looks like a piece of plumbing at this point. So we'll put some caps on it and paint it. And then we'll show you this instrument in action. All right, so here it is. My finished product. Went with like a real dark blue. Put the caps on it to make it pretty. And we're gonna try out in action. Why not? Na na